Good morning, Decatur County. Welcome to Overtime. I'm your host, Nick Messer. Joined in studio here by the South Decatur head boys basketball coach, Dustin Traylor. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Huge win last night. We're going to dive into that here in a minute. And let me tell you, one of my favorite things is the first pitch of the baseball season and basketball season. Man, that gym last night was packed. Wasn't a parking spot open in that facility last night, and just the atmosphere itself was just amazing. But you come away with a 62-45 win last night.
Yep.
2-0 to start the season. On the road tonight at Tri. Again, we'll dive in a little bit of that later, but let's just dive right in and let's talk about some seniors, spotlight some of them out of the gate here, and then we'll talk about some other things. So who's some seniors you got, or who are your seniors this year?
Starting with point guard, we got Drake Skaggs, all-conference player last year. Carson Templeton coming in. Caden Drake, Braden Garion, Grady Scudder, Paul Schuttmer, Garrett Huckleberry, Josh Winkler. Senior heavy, definitely senior heavy this year. A lot of experience, a lot of leadership.
Yeah, and that really showed last night.
Yeah.
I know, like I said, we'll dive into some of the game plans, but the ball movement last night was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Had really good ball movement, and that leadership really stood out.
Right.
A lot of unselfish play, a lot of turning down some tough shots for the easy shot.
Yep. We play our best when we move the ball. We do get caught standing and watching quite a bit, We feel like we could be even better, honestly, moving the ball with our offense. But the kids played well last night. They did. Going into that game against Norwood, it's always a tough game. It's a tough game. It's a county rival. PJ always has his kids prepared. They're tough kids, and we knew what was coming into. They're physical. Every year they're like that. So, but good win for us, though. Just the kids deserved it. The community deserved it. Our school deserved that. Just great win for us, honestly.
So staying on the leadership theme here for a little bit, who's some people or some players up and coming that you really looking forward to their growth?
Looking at our JV, we're young on JV.
With the win last night
yeah,
as well?
Yes.
And I was talking to a parent last night after the game, and he was asking me, the last time that South had beat North in the Civil War battle. But he also asked when's the last time that both beat North.
I know. That's what we talked about.
Yeah, so both, come away with that win last night. So huge moral victories for both JV and varsity.
Yeah, and kind of similar boat as what North is. We're young on JV. We played a lot of freshmen as well as last year. We played basically all freshmen last year. Some juniors did play last year on JV. But, we got a couple of sophomores that we're really looking forward to, Riker Martin, Elon Phelps, and Emmett McFarland. Emmett's out with football. He tore his knee in football, so he's out. But that was a big loss. And that's the thing with the JV team. If you can get a few guys that have some experience, and help those younger guys come up, playing freshmen, that's tough. Playing JV schedule with freshman kids is tough for them kids. They got to grow up real quick. This is our second game. They got introduced to high school basketball last week at Trinity Lutheran, and that last night they came in and they got it done. So I was super proud of those guys.
Yeah, and for the most part, what I watched, they were really poised for young kids. Moving, like I said, moving the ball. I thought JV moved the ball fairly well, too, but they were really poised. They didn't really panic, and it was close. Most of the game, it was close. I don't remember the final score. I think it was like a 5 or 6 point victory, something like that.
Yeah.
But they stayed really poised, which is really good for young players.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that's tough coming in, being a freshman. In all reality, the perfect world, we want a freshman team with a freshman schedule, Hopefully our program gets to that here in the next few years. That's what we're building for, just to give guys more experience. But you can't have everything all at once, so that's just something we're building for.
Yeah. And any surprises last night Like, was there somebody that you just like, holy cow, where'd that come from?
You know, I look at the gameplay from everybody. Everybody chips in. You look at our scorebook. You know, I think Drake had 18 last night. Caden Drake was in double figures. Carson, I think, was right there in double figures. Carson had 10, 12 points, 8 rebounds, something like that. You know, Aiden Bryant had 5. Taden Traylor had 5. Braden Garion had 6, I believe. You know, so our balanced scoring, I think. Grady Scudder, he got in there for a short time, and he ended up scoring for us. Just that balanced scoring is what we've noticed that's what stands out to us. You know, everybody's kind of chipping in. Obviously, you know, we got Drake as our leader, and he kind of runs our offense, obviously. But those other guys chipping in like that, it's just going to make us better. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. It seems, and you can see it even, you know, way at the top where I was trying to sit, because it was packed. I mean, it was a packed house last night.
Yeah.
North travels well in any sport,
Yes.
first of all.
Yes.
And you know, you guys knew that, but you know, you guys home games travel. You even travel well, so it wasn't really too many seats last night,
Mm-hmm.
which I love that. I love that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But you could also see that camaraderie with this group.
Yes.
You can tell that this is a tight knit group.
Yes.
Just by watching how they play.
Yep. We preach, you know, don't get too high, don't get too low. And their composure that we've seen the last 2 weeks is just, it's unmatched, you know, from last year to this year. How they handle adversity, you know, if we got down, if we get up, they bounce back either way. They've shown that the last couple of weeks, and that's what we talked about that last night. The coaches did, is how they handle things, you know. And I think that's where you come in with some senior leadership. You know, they've been through a lot, so they're able to do that. You know, they understand that.
Yeah, and it you could see it watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
They kept each other up. Mm-hmm. Nobody really got down last night.
Right.
I know a couple frustration points last night, but that's expected in a heated rivalry.
Right.
Right. So no worries on that. Just as a fan and coach myself, like, you expect that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, they held each other together.
Yep.
Pretty well.
Yep. They do that. You know, we have tough practices. The kids battle. It gets chippy in practices, but you know they're all a tight knit group. They really are, and you have to have that. You know, even with the JV kids, they are too, and if you have that, you can be successful, obviously.
Yeah, and a lot of man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of man-to-man, and of course North plays a lot of man-to-man. You're not going to see too much traps and pressing. I mean, I know PJ does, but a lot of man-to-man, a lot of quick movement.
Yep.
I like to see that. It's kind of old school.
Yep.
I think today in basketball, everybody's so quick to go to a zone and sit back, and you know, we're going to press 94 feet the whole game, and if you have the ability to save the legs, I mean, you got a game tonight.
Yep.
Is that something that you guys really just harp on in practice, or take us through that mindset of being more of a old school man-to-man team?
So, you know, coming last year, halfway through the season, you know, we looked at our team. We're soft. We was a very soft team. Played zone mainly last year, first half of the season. Me and Eric came in. We switched it to man, and that's what we preached. We want to be a physical team. You know, and that's why I look at North Decatur, and if you take anything away from them, they're always physical, you know, and we want that for not just our varsity kid. We want that for our program. We want physical, tough kids, and you know, our practices are like that. We play man-to-man, defense, physical, tough, and that's what we preach. You know, you match a team's intensity and physicality, you're gonna be okay, and that's what we want to push through all of our levels of our program. You know, from the top to the bottom. So I think that's just a mindset. Me and Eric are both kind of just old school like that, you know, just hard-nosed like that. So and the kids have bought into it, you know. Some kids might not like it very much because it gets a little chippy at practice at times, but some kids, they love it, you know, and you get everybody to buy into it.
Yeah.
It'll
Well,
work.
they better buy into it because you guys are going to try tonight.
I know. Yep.
Tries a very physical team as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to play. They're going to play hard nosed, old school as well. You probably are going to see a trap or two out of them, but they are physical.
Yep. Yeah, they play a combination of they have some good sophomores. They have a transfer kid from Knightstown. I think he's like 6'6" kid. He's a sophomore. They have a couple seniors, good leaders. They play a little zone. They play man. They play 1-3-1 trap. They're physical. They move well on offense. They're coming in at 3-0. They got a lot of confidence. They had a big win last night. It was Blue River Valley or something like that. I think so.
Blue River Valley High School.
Yeah. So they're coming in 3-0. There are a sectional opponent potentially. Our sectionals there this year, so it's gonna be a tough game for us. Yeah.
So let's talk about, and I know, like I said, off to 2-0, and that's what everybody's gonna look at. Again, in the crowd, after the game, people's talking to me about it like this, and this highlight and this happened, and but everybody gets caught up, and I've talked about this several times on here, even during our winter season or our winter show with football and cross country. Everybody looks at a score, but it's really the day-to-day grind, that day-to-day process that holds more value.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you seeing early on in terms of behind-the-scenes growth in your team right now?
I think just obviously buying in to what we want. Their defense, like what we talked about, the man-to-man defense, bringing that. Obviously, we still need, and that's what we talked about last night, me and Eric did. It's offensively, they're doing well, but we can be better. There's always more to give, and we talk about it. The coaches have more to give, the players have more to give, but they're understanding, what we want. It's just we just got to capitalize on it, though, for sure.
Yeah, and we could look at it. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. The good thing about it is they're small things, and we're seeing it now, and the kids know it too, and we're seeing it now, and we have a long season ahead of us to fix it. So, we don't want to be satisfied. We've had 2 great wins, and like we that's what we preach. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Our schedule's tough. You look at our schedule coming up. We got a tough schedule.
Yeah,
we're on a road a lot this year, but it's a journey for sectional. That's our number one goal. Is it's a journey. The kids are buying into it, and we want a sectional championship. That's our goal this year. So.
Yeah, and it's definitely in reach.
Yeah.
And people are gonna, and that's what I mean. People are gonna see the score or whatever.
Yeah.
They're gonna take, but I like to bring in the day-to-day, what things we're seeing that's different, the growth aspect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's somebody can't do a pick and roll or whatever,
Right.
and they've worked at it and they got better, and then you're able to put that into your offensive set, and
Right.
that's the stuff that a lot of the fans aren't going to see.
Right.
So I always like to bring in that growth aspect. If we just talk about last night, room for improvement. Obviously, free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Free throws was
We
one.
struggled. Yep.
But the only reason I'm pointing that out is because you can see that the players know, like they know. You can tell right away where they're like, "Oh, I gotta get better. I gotta do better."
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't in a negative way.
Right.
Their response to plays over next play was really good last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We talk next play, and it's the seniors. You can tell that's how much they've grown, from last year to this year. We preach out a lot. Next play. Looking at our free throws last night, our kids, they play hard, and I know there towards the end of the game, we only rotated 2 guys off the bench last night, so. I ain't making excuses for them whatsoever. I think it's, coming down to the wire. Obviously a little nerves, coming up. They want that game so bad, and tired legs and stuff. You could tell it was kind of getting to him. Probably could have done a little bit better job subbing a little bit there, but they definitely know that, week 1 in Trinity, we did decent at free throws. I think Drake missed 2 during the Trinity game, but they responded, though. They came back, North made a little run there, and like I said, those kids they just fought back. They never give up. They're tough. Our kids are showing toughness.
Yeah. And, the playing, and this is another part that I think sometimes the fans forget. They always ask, well, so-and-so didn't play or what. Each game, each possession, each situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that fans often forget.
Yep.
There's at one point I'm sitting there, and of course, as a fan and a coach, I'm like, well, he's going with a smaller, faster set,
Mm-hmm.
And it clicks with me, but, there's people sitting beside me, and I can hear them like, why is so-and-so not in? But
Mm-hmm.
they just don't understand that
Yep.
there's different aspects of the game that require different
Right.
setups.
Right.
So just touch a little bit about on that. I mean, are you thinking long term, just for the people I heard last night, are you thinking a long term, you're like a 7-8 rotation probably?
Yeah. Yep. And, we knew that coming into the year. It's high school basketball. We're here to win games, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to put the kids that we feel like are going to give us the best chance to win the game. And our kids know that. They understand that. And, you got some seniors on that's not getting playing time right now, but there's going to be situations where they will. You take, for example, Grady Scudder didn't play last week. It just didn't match up well with him last week. We had our player meeting with Grady this past week, and, he understands that. That's what a senior leader does. He understands there's going to be situations where he might not get in. Last night he came off the bench for us, gave us great minutes, came in for Caden. And, that's what we need. Everybody just needs to buy into that and understand that they're a part of this, and, last night it was so cool just seeing those kids. They got the trophy last night. They give it to Garrett Huckleberry, and they raised him up.
Yeah, I noticed that,
yeah. And Garrett, he hasn't been in this year, but he's still a part of this, and he's one of our senior leader guys. He works his tail off every day in practice for us, and, those kids, they make us better, and getting them to understand that, like, yeah, you guys are a part of this no matter what, and they do.
And I think that's two areas that are underappreciated, especially for probably for our listeners. Some of them may not understand that, it's not just a game and a score. You need role players to contribute. And not only do you need role players, you need a good scout team.
Right.
Because you can't run every practice your offense against your defense.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to
Right.
they're going to have to learn too,
Mm-hmm.
tries trap or whatever, they're 1-3-1 or whatever you're running, and they're going to have to run it. So those scout team players are going to get better being a scout team,
Right.
essentially. But it was nice last night because Scudder came in, hits the shot, everybody gets crazy,
Yep.
and it sent North to the timeout.
Right.
So you could see,
Right.
again, that camaraderie,
Yep.
that buy-in of being a role player.
Right. If you watch our bench, they're always hyped, and that's great. That's you're doing okay as a team if you can have that. You got your bench guys just hyping everybody up, and that shows you where your team's at this point, I think. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was a good, and like I keep going back to that, but it's just when you're at the game, you can see it, and hopefully listeners agree. You could just see that chemistry, and that's game 2. Now there's going to be downs.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, so people listening don't think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Nobody's going undefeated.
No,
Sorry.
no.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely
not going to
not.
be the negative guy.
No,
but,
no,
they're going to be
we know
downs
that.
and
Yeah.
downs and things, but it doesn't mean that camaraderie is still not going to
Yeah.
be there, and they build and grow through it. Actually, before I went live this morning, I got a phone call from Coach Buckner.
Oh yeah.
So he was excited for you guys, and
Yeah.
he wanted to let you know that congratulations and a big win.
Yeah.
So people are excited, and that's good
Yeah.
to see in that community too.
Yeah, South needs this. Our basketball program, it's been so inconsistent, and that's the main reason why I applied for this position and came in here, just because I came into that interview and I said we're failing our kids, and we was, and that was the main reason. I was just tired of it, and our program needs this, our community needs this, and it's coming along. It's a process. It's like anything else. It's a process. It's going to take time. But I feel like we're on the right track. I really do.
I agree. We're going to pause just for a second for about a 3-minute break here. Again, joined in studio here by South Decatur boys varsity basketball coach Dustin Traylor. I'm Nick Messer, and this is Overtime. Welcome back to Overtime. I'm your host, Nick Messer. Joined in studio here by South Decatur boys varsity coach, Dustin Traylor. Just talking about the value of community and building back up a historic program from down at South. or at South. And let's jump back into that. Before we went to commercial break, Coach, we were talking about community. And like I said, I was there last night, and that place was packed.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a rivalry. You know, it's a crosstown Civil War game. But just in general, I mean, I've been at several things here lately, and it's the community is really buying into everything.
Yeah.
Even if we go football, which was a challenging season for Coach Martin.
Right.
Community still had plenty of buy-in.
Right.
So let's just talk about that for a minute, the value of community.
You know, I talk about this a lot, you know, even with our youth program. For this to be successful, you got to have everybody buy in. It's just not the players. It's the parents. It's the community. You have to have your school. Everybody has to buy into what's going on. If you do that, you're going to have success. And that's why I talk about, you know, everybody's got to jump on board with this. You know, you want to be a part of it, you got to jump on board with it. Our success is their success. So I think it's important. You know, I've preached it for several years now. And we do. I think people are starting to see that. And I think it's going to be even better.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And when Coach Martin was on here, we talked about you know, youth football, and how you knew it was game day because the little kids, you know, they wear those jerseys for 3 days straight, 3-4 days straight, and it's nice to see down there because, you know, for whatever reason, it's almost like that community aura or whatever you want to call it was lost for a while. And I know it's coming back with basketball because, you know, I'll be at the local Westport Walmart and, you know, people are stopping. What do you think? What are we going to look like? You know, and it's great to see. You know, we'll segue to that. You know, we have Dirt Road. For those of you who don't know, the Dirt Road Basketball League is it's a 2 games on Sunday, and typically they're very similar to the schedule that the varsity plays. Milan, South Ripley, Jacksonville, Batesville, Greensburg, occasionally a couple teams maybe from up north. But it's building that foundation, laying that foundation of future players. And it's been successful. You know, I coached 1-2 years ago, and it's just that atmosphere. It's coming back.
This is our 5th year, I think. 5th year for our youth program. That first year we played MIT. I think we might have had 3 teams in it, you know. And then once we did Dirt Road, it was the 2nd grade. This would be our first year for our 2nd grade team. So South was missing that. You look at our youth football program, I think that youth football program has been going on for 30 plus years.
Long time. Because I remember my dad was president of it forever. So, I mean, that's 30 plus years for a youth program to be going is awesome. And we didn't have that basketball. There's a few, like, you know, these seniors, I had them kids when they were in 3rd grade. I started coaching them when they were in YMCA ball. So, you know, that it was a few dads that, you know, had a couple teams, but here's what makes this work is you have moms and dads. They come together and they want to change, so everybody jumps in. Everybody's on board with it. So this year we got 2nd, 3rd. We have 2 4th grade teams with 5th and 6th. So we got, you know, we're full. Each one of those coaches move up with them each year. So the process is just trying to rebuild the 2nd grade. You know, getting a 2nd grade coach. That way, that coach can follow them all the way through. That's our vision, and it's worked so far. We're starting to see these kids that did play Dirt Road, our 8th grade kids right now. They were our first kids to play in our youth program, and you can see that, you know, the talent level that those kids have, the basketball, just fundamentals and stuff like that, you know, because you look at our teams, that's what we lacked a lot was just that fundamental stuff. But it's getting better. It's great. You know, actually the 2nd grade, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, their first games are this week, this Sunday. So our 5th and 6th grade, we played the last 2 weeks.
but a lot of talent in elementary. There's a lot of talent there, and I have a great group of people that help lead that. Great people.
And that's the patience that you have to have. Of course, everybody wants I don't want to say just the talent, but everybody wants that leadership. Everybody wants that growth, but you can't push it. You can't force it because, it has to be done the correct way.
Right.
And we're starting to see that.
Yep.
That growth.
Yep.
And like you said, the 8th graders, because I remember, was it 3 years ago? I had those 8th graders.
Yeah. Yep.
And just to see where they're at now.
Yep.
I mean, their growth is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a process, right? Yeah. And it's taken us like each year it gets a little better. It's always just it's a struggle sometimes. What you look at, putting this together. We don't have big facilities, so you're with the gym times, practice times. We're sharing basically 3 gyms. 2 at the high school, 1 at the elementary. With the dirt road program, you got junior high basketball. Girls is junior high boys junior high basketball, girls junior high basketball is getting ready to start, and then you got the high school teams. It's tough. It's tough to everybody get in there. It's challenging, but everybody does great and works together. And it's what it takes.
Yeah, these kids don't know anything about waking up at 5:30.
They don't.
A 5:45 in the morning practice in one gym.
Yep.
Like they just don't understand that that oxygen at least allowed to get away from that.
Right.
Junior high always had the morning, and it was
junior high and freshman.
It was always early, yeah. Yep. So, but it is nice to see that feeder program.
Yes.
Paying off.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's talent coming up, and it's coming up the right way.
Yeah.
You're not rushing it.
Right.
You can't, but it's good to see. Let's hit on. Let's stay on junior high. 8th grade, 7th grade, looking good.
Yep, look great. Mike Cole, Jed Ortman's coaches for those guys. A lot of talent there. That 7th grade, they play really well together. A lot of talent on just both groups. Just looking forward to having those guys just keep growing and moving up. Obviously, our goal, is hopefully to have a freshman team next year if we can. But that's just something we're pushing for. That's one of our goals, is just try to have a freshman JV and varsity team. But we have a lot of kids in junior high. I want to say we have 11, 13 kids on that 7th grade team.
Yeah,
possibly.
I think there's somewhere around 13, 14.
Yeah.
It's a massive roster.
Yeah. So, typically they might cut, kids with that many coming out, but we've seen some kids with some potential, and at that grade I feel like you got to give them a shot. You see the potential, give them a shot. And that's what the junior high coach has done. And it's a struggle obviously playing that many kids, but if a kid has potential, then they came to me and said, hey, we feel like these guys deserve a shot at it, and you don't see that every day. I mean, it'd be nice if we could have 2 teams, but 1A school having that many kids interested in basketball, that's a great thing.
Yeah, it is, and it just shows. It shows the top and bottom end coming together.
Right.
You know what I mean? It shows that at the varsity where you're at, you got the buy-in, and you got the younger kids seeing that and wanting to progress, to be part of that. And we've seen that at the, I call it Big Blue Madness, but it's your community night, or I don't remember what you get.
Cougar Classic tip-off.
Cougar Classic tip-off.
Yeah.
If you wasn't there, it was really good.
Yeah.
Community came out, and of course you guys introduced, have a few contests. Had an alumni game.
I think we're gonna dial down the minutes for an alumni game for some. This is our 2nd year for that, so.
Yeah, I was like, man, I kind of want to do that. And then I went, we went to it and watched it, and I was like, I don't want to do that. My legs can't take it. I just seemed like it went on forever. But
last year was even worse, I think, though.
But it was nice though, because you know, one, it got the community involved.
Yep.
Two, it showed that buy-in.
Yeah.
And I think the coolest thing for me watching as a fan, as a coach, as a parent, was the kids getting announced.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the best thing about the whole night is when you announced it straight through, you guys went second through varsity.
Right.
And just to watch them run through that line and
beating each other.
Yeah,
up.
oh man, they were pushing, and I don't know how a few of those varsity players even made it through that line.
I know.
By that time, it was like 75 kids in the line, and those of you listening, they kind of came out of the new hallway from the Aux gym to the main gym. And they started with second grade, went all the way through varsity, and announced them one at a time by what team they were on, and they just kind of pushed each other, hyped each other up as down the line, which is great. But by the time it got to the varsity players, you had second through
junior high.
So second through eighth grade, so roughly about 75 kids in this line.
Yep.
And the varsity players tried to run out, and they were getting pushed.
Yeah,
it was really nice to see. It was really cool.
They thought they were going to be the tough ones and push those kids around. They forgot they had to run through them.
Yeah.
So.
But it was great.
Yeah.
And the buy-in's there, and of course everything's clicking. You know, again, there's going to be downs, but I think you got a great group that sticks together and can bounce back. That next play mentality, the camaraderie was there. Ball movement. I'm serious. Those of you who weren't at the game, go. I don't know if they can go on Huddle and watch or not, but go watch the game, because the ball movement was probably some of the best ball movement that I've seen.
Yep.
From a South team in a while, and that's no disrespect to any of the previous teams, but
right.
I mean, it was very unselfish. It was we're going to get the better shot.
Yep.
Not to say there weren't some forced or layups left on the board or free throws before somebody, you know, said something about that. Yeah, there's always improvement, but overall, my takeaway was that ball movement.
Yep.
Like the unselfish play. You know, I'm not going to force it. I'm going to get it to the next guy.
Yeah.
Couple things I do want to hit on here for you. You know, obviously we talked about seniors and leadership and everything. December 13th, you have Bread of Life. You just want to explain what's going on with that?
Bread of Life, our team has partnered up with them. There's a flyer on our Facebook page that shows, you know, the donation stuff that they need. So we're just asking everybody to, you know, help donate for that cause. So.
Yeah, and I like things like this because I'm a big proponent, and I preach all the time. If you're going to be a leader on the court, you got to be a leader off the court.
Yep.
It is not two separate things.
Right.
And if pro sports have taught us anything, they're not the same thing.
Right.
And so I always love when, especially local community things, and you get the kids involved, and it's not just varsity.
Right.
This is the whole program. So 2 through 12 has an opportunity to just contribute to the community, especially this time of year, which is great. Teaching them to be leaders off the court.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll anything else you want to – am I missing anything here as I kind of go through my notes? One thing I do on here is I do what's called a final take, and I just sit back and I let you talk as long as you want about anything you want, thank yous, whatever. Yeah. And I think we'll start wrapping it up. I know you got practice here in 20 minutes, so we'll get you out of here and down the road. And I just want to reiterate, though, that you are on the road tonight at Tri.
Yep.
And that's a JV 6 o'clock tip-off.
Yep.
So if you don't have anything going on tonight, travel up to Tri and support your Cougars. Also, if you haven't watched a dirt road game or a junior high game, I know those kids would love for fans to go to those games.
Yep.
Junior high games are starting to get pretty big. I noticed that the last one, you know, there's quite a bit of people showing up to these games.
Yep.
And I love that because the players do feed into that. They absolutely, I know they say they don't, but players feed into that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched a 2 through 8, second grade through 8th grade game, you know, dirt road or junior high, I highly encourage you to go watch because those kids need the support. And if they're getting the support now, they're going to have the support later. So pack those stands for those kids as well. watch them put on a show at junior high, 7th and 8th, or like Coach just said, there's a lot of talent in 7th and 8th. So, and then obviously the dirt road, there's some talent in there. So go watch them. Spend a few bucks, spend an hour or two watching the basketball youth progress to hopefully be up there on the varsity level. So with that said, Coach, I will give you your final take.
Oh, well, like I said, we got a tough road game tonight against Tri, a sectional opponent. They're coming in 3-0. Great team. Our kids, coming off a big win last night. They know when they enjoyed it last night, but they know we're going to get in there at 9 o'clock this morning, and we're going to start, concentrating on Tri, watching a little film. We're going to get some shots up this morning. Get stretched out. Just ready the next day. So looking forward to it. Our December is a grind. We have several road games coming up here. I think maybe next Saturday's it's home, but we're on the road quite a bit. So like I said earlier, our schedule's tough, but our kids we're getting where we want to be. We're not quite there yet, and they know that. They know there's room for improvement, and we're just going to keep on chipping at it. So I'm just super proud of the kids, the coaches. Just looking forward to the rest of this December for sure.
All right, Coach. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Like I said, it was kind of exciting to see all those emotions and everything come back into a program, into a community, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, they deserve it. That's what I talked about it last night before the game. Our community deserves it. Our school, that team, that program. It was a long time coming, and those kids will work for it. So
yeah, something else I didn't mention that I'm kind of impressed with. I'm a shoe guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hard to coach when you can't crease them.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that last night. I was like, oh, look, coach is on an E because he can't crease them.
Yeah. Oh.
That's funny. I do want to hit on Coach Hicks couldn't be here today, but I do want to give a shout out to the Lady Cougars as well. They had a tough battle with Greensburg earlier this week, and Greensburg is just their girls team is just phenomenal. Yeah. But they are on the road today at 1:30 at OA. So if you don't have anything going on, take a drive down to OA. That's Oldenburg Academy. Lady Cougars basketball 1:30. They also have a game this Thursday at home, and that's a 7:30. I'm showing 7:30 home against Hauser. I don't know if that's a varsity only. I haven't heard yet. Of course, that schedule could be misleading, but
I think right now they're doing varsity only. I think.
So just stay tuned to social media. I know right now JV's a little thin.
Yeah.
I think there were a few injuries. I wanted to talk to Coach Hicks about that and just see where it's at. That's been a question. But we do want to show some love to the Lady Cougars. So again, they play today at Oldenburg Academy at 1:30, and then they're at home Thursday at 7:30 against Hauser. But again, watch social media, check out social media. So that's going to wrap up overtime for the South Decatur show. Again, in studio with me has been the South Decatur boys varsity coach, Dustin Traylor. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tune in. We'll be here live next Saturday at 8 a.m. So tune in, share it. We got some changes coming that I'll announce here soon on social media. But nevertheless, you can always tune in. Again, that's Saturdays. We're at a new time, same location. Saturdays, 8 a.m. I'm Nick Messer, and this has been Overtime.